Closing the Achievement Gap in English Language Arts Student Learning Objectives Project, EDTP 650 Professional Internship and Seminar, University of Maryland University College, December 7, 2015. By Ingrid Sarrichio. Earl B. Wood Middle School is dominated by an increasing Hispanic population, 38.6%, followed by the Caucasian population of 33.5%, African American population at 12.9%, and Asian population at 10.1%. Its school improvement plan is striving to close the achievement gap, which states, our school will decrease the cumulative GPA performance gap from 0.54 to 0.40 from previous year for African American students. The cumulative GPA will increase from 2.94 to 3.08. Our school will decrease the cumulative GPA performance gap from 0.64 to 0.50 from the previous year for Hispanic students. The cumulative GPA will increase from 2.84 to 2.98. Therefore, the academic goal for the selected students in the SLO is to increase the GPA between Latino and African Americans and the Caucasian and Asian populations by increasing their proficiency in a particular skill set. The students selected for the SLO are 5 Hispanic males, 2 African American females, and 1 Hispanic female. The writing assessment directions within the Montgomery County pre-assessment required students' interpretation of a poem and proof from the poem to support their interpretation. The selected SLO students did not perform to the expectation of the assessment. The students required support in identifying an idea concept within a text. Although there are students in the classes who would have qualified for the SLO project, an agreement was made between the English language arts teachers to monitor a reasonable amount of students, which were 2 students in each class. For my mentor teacher and me, and then 8 students in total for our 4 English classes. Materials used to carry out the SLO would be graphic organizers, modeling, heterogeneous groups, and pre-selected text for analysis. The target groups for the SLO are the Latino and African American population. The problem with the achievement gap is not new. According to Patricia Grandara, Latinos are the least educated of all major ethnic groups. In order for Latino and African American students to become successful academically, they must be exposed to a positive and supportive educational environment, which is vital, especially when the socioeconomic status of minority students play a major role in how students perform in schools. Such students suffer when schools do not have a system to compensate for the most necessary elements students are missing from their lives to perform well academically. There is evidence to suggest that interracial friendships and improved attitudes, becoming familiar with other ethnic cultures and perspectives, makes room for friendships. Students will have a more positive outlook on life, which translates to increased motivation, racial socialization, and a positive learning environment. One strategy highlighted by the American Psychological Association that promotes interracial communication is cooperative learning. Cooperative learning involves small groups of students of varying achievement levels and different racial ethnic groups working together on various learning activities that promote academic success for each team member. Earl B. Wood Middle School is already a diversely populated school, and having students work in heterogeneous cooperative groups maximizes learning potential. Graphic organizers are also helpful for struggling students because of their ability to separate material into manageable pieces. Savorny and Devenport describe graphic organizers as organizing information in a visual format that often helps students understand the main idea of the chapter and the importance of the parts. The graphic organizers categorizes information for easier processing. Modeling is another helpful tool in guiding students and then allowing them to practice before making formative or summative assessments. According to Heather Coffey, modeling gives students the opportunity to observe how a task should be done and then imitate when they practice with similar material. As a baseline, students took a county pre-assessment, and following the results of their test, I determined that I would incorporate a pre-selected text to use as an example and for analysis, modeling, graphic organizers, and heterogeneous grouping. The SLO project started in the second marking period of the first semester. During the SLO, the students completed 2 major assignments, and they came close to completing the final assignment before the SLO project ended. The first 2 assignments overlapped. Assignment 1 was about writing a letter to the principal, persuading her to approve a field trip to visit a monument of landmark of their choice. Assignment 2 was reading one of 3 literature circle books for homework and participating once a week every Tuesday in literature circle activities that related to the theme of the unit's sense of place. For assignment 1, a poem was used for a pre-selected text as an example, and for analysis to introduce students to the sense of place theme. The students conducted research of their selected monument/landmark by using a research graphic organizer that categorized the information they were supposed to locate. Students were also provided with a graphic organizer designed to record their citations as they were researching. After the research phase, the students were provided with a business letter template to help them with the setup of a formal letter, and they received an outline identifying the type of information needed in each paragraph of the letter. For assignment 2, students had 3 weeks to read their literature circle novel. They were provided with 1 worksheet to complete by each literature circle meet for the first 2 weeks. During the first 2 weeks, students took a mini quiz about the required chapter reading, and the worksheets were used for group discussions, and the students were sent off to complete an individual task using the group discussions as their guide. I modeled the group discussions, which took the form of relay response and note-taking on their Chromebooks. For the 3rd week, the students worked in groups to create a poem about their literature circle novel. Assignment 3 encompassed writing a short story where the main character is affected by the setting. The assignment started off with identifying the components of setting and its importance in a story. Then the next lesson was to plot chart a story to understand how a story is constructed. Following, we read a short story together as a class, and I modeled how to plot diagram the story. Next, students completed a plot diagram independently with a different story. Using both of these short stories and others that I posted online for them to read, they received a brainstorming guide, and they were given the option to pick between different plot diagrams that they preferred to use to plan out their story. The SLO project ended as students started with their final drafts of their short story. I searched for improvement in the categories of formative assessments, homework, and summative. Out of 8 students selected for the SLO, 4 increased their class grade by 1 letter grade, 2 students dropped 1 letter grade, and 2 other students remained stagnant. For the successful students, all of them increased in the formative category, coming out to an average of 4.8% increase. However, only 2 of the students increased in the homework and summative categories. The two students who remained stagnant were not able to sufficiently increase in either category to reach the higher letter grade. And the two students who dropped had a major decrease in the homework category. And for one of those two students, their summative category decreased significantly as well. The implications for K-12 teaching and learning are that cooperative groups, graphic organizers, and modeling have a great potential in increasing students' class grade and eventually their GPA if they do well in other subject areas as well. For 4 of the students in the SLO, they increased their grade by 1 letter grade. However, for the students who were not successful, the literature circle mini quizzes could have been the culprit in their class grade downfall, leading me to believe that they were not reading the assignment chapters. In hindsight, I should have had the students complete a close reading of their novel, which would have required them to analyze one particular section of the book and participate in group discussions, thus avoiding questions that asked them to recall information from chapters they would not have read.